Hey, so this is Nomad. Nomad is my um, pen name for this blog, Urban Nomads. And basically, I want to talk about in this blog, this is kind of an introduction to it, what Urban Nomads is all about. So basically, this blog is about alternative living situations. And basically, what I mean is like, different living situations beyond just the traditional renting or paying, buying a house and getting a mortgage, that kind of thing. I want to talk about just alternatives to that system because I feel personally that that system is this close to indentured servitude. And I had an epiphany moment about 4 months ago that helped me see this. I'll talk more about that in the video titled My Story, because it's a very long story and I don't want to I just want to give a quick overview right now. And let's just say something happened to me where I became quote unquote homeless, literally on the street in a park. And I had an epiphany that day. It's going to sound really strange, but basically this huge weight was lifted off my shoulders and I realized what the cause of that weight was. It was like there was always this guillotine in the back of my mind, like in the Matrix when he says like a thorn in your mind, just always over me, and I didn't know about it. It was like until it was gone, and once it was gone, I realized what it was, and what it is rent pressure or payment pressure for your housing, and that pressure is so oppressive and is so like all pervasive that we've just accepted it in our society, and then we don't even question it. I never questioned the fact that I had to find a place and rent it, or that I had to find a place and buy it, and to buy a place I had to get my credit up and get a mortgage and make a down payment and go through this arduous process to basically buy some huge, very expensive house that and then you're in this rat race to pay for it, right? You gotta pay for it, trying to get ahead, and anyway, that day all that pressure was gone, and I realized that I was free. Like, how could I be free being homeless? Like, that doesn't even make sense, right? But instead of feeling bad, I actually felt good. It was strange, but I haven't seen the world the same since then. And so I really started thinking about these situations and what it takes to live them, and are there alternatives to the traditional thing, and it turns out there are, but most people aren't aware of them. Most people don't even think about them, and when you do think about them, there's this sense of fear and dread or shame associated with them, which is a shame because some of them are pretty cool solutions. So real quick, this blog is about that. There's industrial situations. A lot of artists live in industrial buildings, in old warehouses. There's also this whole movement towards what's called the tiny house movement, or tiny houses, which are basically kind of like little tiny houses that people build on trailer platforms. There's a whole bunch. There's shipping containers. There's a whole movement to build stuff out of shipping containers. And what else? There's tents. There's people that have a little piece of land and they build yurt-style tents. Just several tent styles that people have borrowed from native communities. That have, like, yurts. Yurts have been around for hundreds of years, if not thousands. Teepees, it's all kinds of stuff out there. And so the thing these things all have in common is you can live there and you don't have to pay rent, and you don't have to pay a mortgage. And that's the key. The key is you own something. And as weird or as strange as some of these methods may seem, or unorthodox, what they allow you to do is to own something that's yours, that you control. The problem with the whole rent thing is it's not yours. And I'm gonna do another video on that because it's a long topic. You know, you pay rent for a year. All you have to show for it is a good rental history, and you're out of, you know, anywhere from $15,000 to $40,000 depending on what your rent was. And the only difference between that and a mortgage payment is the bank is loaning you the money. They really own the house. But, you know, there are some situations where maybe you could borrow the money, your house goes up in value, you could sell it, and you end up with like $100,000 or something. I mean, sure, but the house could also go down in value, and you lose $100,000, and you're stuck with a house that's worth less than you paid. And that's what happened with people during the economic downturn in 2008. So the idea is that what I started thinking about when this happened to me was what is a way where somebody can just get started and like build something, you know, because right now it's very difficult. I mean, suffice it to say, I have a lot to say on this subject, and that's what this blog is about. So I'm going to talk about my own experiences and experience as I'm currently doing one of those solutions. I'm going to talk about other people's experiences and just, you know, the whole smorgasbord of alternative living. And the idea of urban nomads, which I've been for, you know, because I was like, what am I? You know, I mean, I've constantly been moving. I've rarely had a permanent place. I've always been moving. I moved from Texas to Seattle to here, and I'll cover that more in my story, but I'm like, what am I, you know? And then this term came to me, like camping, urban nomads, you know, urban nomad. So it's like a modern day nomad that travels around, doesn't have a permanent place. Although, you know, some of these solutions are quasi-permanent, but anyway, check it out. Let me know what you think. If you're in an alternative living situation now, how's it going? If you know some good resources, if you have some questions, and let's debate it. Let's debate the pros and cons of this whole situation in the comments, you know? So yeah, let's just debate it and see how it goes. And so that's it. So welcome to Urban Nomads.